Krishna avatarite acharya pratigya karya. Madhya. Oh, wir sind Madhya. Oh, ich habe vorbereitet für Ādi-līlā. Okay, dann ich lese von Ādi-līlā. Ja, ja, ich ab die Texte. Es steht CCA, das bedeutet CC Caitanya-caritāmṛta Adi in meinem. No, ich hab hier die Liste, Govinda Dev hat mir die Liste geschickt. Ja, ich habe Beweis. Ah? Es steht hier CCA 70. Es tut mir leid, du hast... Neha bikrama nashasti pratyavayana vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahatobhyate. In this endeavor there is no loss and diminution. Even if you write the wrong verse, Krishna count as a pure devotional service. Huh?
Not so pure.
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jayorada Madhava Kunjabihari Jayorada Madhava Kunjabihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jayorada Madhava Kunjabihari Kunjabihari Shri Radha Madhava ki Jaya. Hare Krishna. So we're reading from Caitanya-caritāmṛta, Ādi-līlā, chapter 13, verse 70. Before I start reading about this, I will just because this is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's times now, at least this week, I want to say how difficult for devotee is, for me at least, to get absorbed into one topic, just because we just had Varahadev appearance day, and I was all into Varahadev, I was reading Varahadev Leela, and there's so many things to say about Varahadev, and then next day, it's Nityananda's appearance day. So you have to quickly transport your mind to Nityananda. And because there's so much to say about Lord Nityananda, was passiert? Brauchst du Besetzung? And just then you're absorbed in yourself in Nityananda, then Gaur Purnim comes. Or no, then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's appearance day. So okay, then I was reading so much about Bhaktisiddhanta, and there's so much to say about Bhaktisiddhanta. Srila Bhakti Vikas Maharaj wrote this wonderful book. He didn't write a compile about the life and teaching of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And there's so many things to say about this. Just the articles of Bhaktisiddhanta wrote. And then there's a Gaur Purnim. So now we have to, at least we have 7 days to meditate on Lord Chaitanya. And after this, very soon, we have to start meditating on Lord Rama, because Rama Navami will come. So for the devotee, this is a transcendental problem. People have problems in this world, and this is our problem. Our problem is so much nectar and so little time. And so our means are not so great. We have only one mouth and 2 ears and 2 eyes. Not the greatest. Rupa Goswami wrote this verse. The holy name is so full of nectar that one desired to have not only one mouth but thousands. To reconnect you from thousands mouths to chant Hare Krishna. Imagine this nectar. So Srimad Bhagavatam is full of nectar. Even the liberated souls actually read Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very, very interesting point. It's not like now this is only for us, or a Bhakta program. You have a Bhakta program and Bhagavad Gita is for you. No, even liberated souls read Bhagavad Gita. Because it's full of nectar. It's full of description of Krishna. And then we have a special nectar. This is a nectar, but there's a special nectar. And this special nectar is the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. So, and Caitanya-caritāmṛta is full of nectar. And to glorify Lord Chaitanya, it's not so easy because there's so many things to speak about Lord Chaitanya. So by the divine providence of Lord Chaitanya, today we'll read from one verse of the 13th chapter, Ādi-līlā, verse 70. Krishna avatarite acharya pratigya kariya, Krishna puja kare tulasi ganga jala diya. Actually, one more thing I want to say before I start reading is when we sing, because I would never sing Jaya Radha Madhava before reading Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Because I thought, we should sing Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. But then after some time, recently I started singing Jaya Radha Madhava. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in one of the articles in his magazine that there is no difference between Gauranga and Krishna. And there is no difference between Gauranga Lila and Krishna Lila. So this is now a puzzlement. How is the Krishna Lila no different from Gauranga Lila? Because Krishna is a different color, is dressed, is a youthful, attractive boy. And Lord Chaitanya is dressed as either grihasta or as a sannyasi. So how is this no different? And Krishna plays with friends, they tend the cows in the forest. Then evening he plays with the gopis. And then with Madhya Yashoda. And so how is it? And Lord Chaitanya doesn't play with gopis. There are some unscrupulous, you can say, religionists in Bengal and Bangladesh who are called Gauranga Nagaris. And they are also trying to have this invoke the same sentiment towards Lord Chaitanya, like gopis towards Krishna. But this is called Sahajya. This is not good. Jiva Goswami had refuted this, and all the acharyas. We don't worship Lord Chaitanya in this way. We worship Lord Chaitanya as a perfect devotee, as a guru. So, how is this Lord Chaitanya's pastime, Gauranga Lila and Krishna Lila the same? How? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually explains this. It is the same in a sense that the more one is absorbing Gauranga Lila, the more one reads about Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the more Krishna Lila will be revealed in his heart. The Krishna Lila is the object, like an ultimate desired object of one's worship. Whatever we do in our lives, there should be some object, that we desire. like you are making this ghee wicks with the object. Our ultimate end on the ghee wicks is to be put on the altar and to burn them to offer to Krishna. Most of the people, object in the material world is money. Why do you go to school? Why do you go to university? Why do you get a job? Oh, I get a job because I like this boss very much. Nobody ever says this, you know. We do this all only because of money. Money. This is the ultimate goal of our work, of our everything, whatever we do, money. Because with money we can buy sense gratification. So the ultimate object is the sense gratification. If you don't have money, your sense gratification is limited. You can buy a nice car, or you can buy, I don't want to offend any car, but Dacia, whatever, because you don't have a means to buy a better car, or whatever. You can afford bigger house, or you can afford more beautiful wife, because you can afford to maintain it. And in the Vedic times, we see the kings, they can afford not only one wife, but many wives, because they can afford it. Oh, I'll just get 4. Okay, 4. I have money, I can maintain them. And so much so that Krishna, in Dwaraka, he maintains 1,008 wives. 16,000 wives. 16,000 wives at the same time. Why? Because he can afford it. He can afford it. We cannot afford it. Can anybody afford 16,000 wives in this world? Anybody? None. Can anybody afford 4 wives? Maybe. Few people. Can anybody afford 10 wives? Probably nobody. Maybe some sheikh, in the Emirat and whatever, they can maybe afford it. So the point here is that ultimate goal of Krishna Lila is who? Krishna. The lotus feet of Krishna. Whatever we read about Krishna Lila, whatever we perform devotional service, we have one goal only. To actually achieve Krishna's lotus feet. So we can be always attached and serve and be inseparable from Krishna. This is the goal of all our whatever we do. Whatever else we do is accidental, you can say. You have your service, you're temple president, you're temple commander, you're pujari, head pujari. It's all accidental. Due to our nature, we engage ourselves, but the goal is not to stay temple commander, temple president. The goal is to actually achieve Krishna. So therefore we do these 2 parallel tracks. So by serving Krishna, we hope to achieve Krishna. And then now, what is the Gauranga Lila? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains the Gauranga Lila is the method how to achieve lotus feet of Krishna. So I thought that was very interesting, that Krishna is the object and Gauranga's Lila is the method. And the only difference is, from the material world, the method and the goal is the same. So worshiping Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and doing the method he actually gave, we will actually achieve Krishna's lotus feet. So therefore Gauranga Mahaprabhu is in that sense not different from Krishna. He also is not different from Krishna because we'll see now why. So Krishna avatarite acharya pratigya kariya, Krishna puja kare tulasi ganga jala diya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. With this consideration, Advaita Acharya Prabhu, promising to cause Lord Krishna to descend, began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. With, very simple, how did Advaita Acharya worship Krishna to cause him to descend? Tulsi leaves and Ganga Jal, we read this here. Ganga Jal, Tulasi Ganga Jal Diya. Diya means give, he gave, offered. So, Tulsi leaves and Ganga water. So simple. This is our God, you know. Yad karoshi, yad dashnasi, yad jugosi dadati yad. Yad tapasyasi konteya. What is the last line? Huh? Tat karushimada, yeah. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, whatever little thing you can offer to me, leaves and water. Imagine, leaves and water. Krishna is so merciful. Just little things. And Prabhupada says, of course, it doesn't mean if you have $10 million you offer water and Krishna is pleased. No, Krishna said, well, you know, I think you can do a little bit better than that. You know. I was once in one rich house in India, and these people had very beautiful marble. Everything was marble, like fancy marble, you know, like this is, you know, all right, but fancy, really expensive marble. And every whole house was like in marble. It was really nice looking. And then he said, and then somebody said, one of the devotees said, wow, you have a very beautiful house. And he says, no, this is not my house. This is all Krishna's house. He said, this is nothing for me. You know. Then he showed us the altar. He said, I have also altar. An altar was made of plywood, cheapest wood you can find, you know, plywood. This is not even wood, this is compressed leftovers of wood, you know. So we were thinking, yeah, right, you know. Alles is for, everything is for Krishna, you know. So the point is here that Krishna is simple and he doesn't require anything, but if you can give more, if you have a means, then we should not hold it back. So this is how Advaita Acharya apparently brought Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this world, which is interesting. The next verse says, by loud cries he invited Krishna to appear, and this repeated invitation attracted Lord Krishna to descend. So this is for devotees, this is a good example that Krishna will appear even to us if we offer these loud cries, as they say here. Loud cries here is Bengali, is hunkara hunkare, vibration of loud cries. Hunkara hunkare. So what is the loud cry for a devotee? We should just stay in there, oh Krishna! Oh, you know this. You know, in these films, old. You know, the people stay on one side of the mountain. He shouts, "Oh!" calling his sheep, you know, to come back. You know. What is a loud cry for a devotee? Loud cry for a devotee is to actually become very serious in devotional service. This is a loud cry. We don't need to cry. It's, you know, nice if we cry for Krishna. But that shouldn't be, of course, sentimental. But our loud cry is a very attentive chanting. Our loud cry is a very attentive service. Our loud cry is a very attentive hearing of the scriptures. This is our loud cries. And Lord Krishna hear this. He says, look at this. You know, this guy is chanting 20 years. Wow. Oh, 10 years. Chanting. Wow. Let me hear what is he actually chanting. Let me hear this. Then we chant Hare Krishna and we think about, you know, pancakes or whatever, you know. Our meditation is during the japa. And then Krishna said, okay, let him cry a little bit longer. Then one day we just find out this world is vacant without Krishna. Govinda virahe name. What is the beginning? Govinda virahe name? Yugaitam nimeshena chakshu shal pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam Govinda virahe name. This is a Shastaka written by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yugaitam nimeshena. One moment by not seeing Krishna, Lord Chaitanya feels like a yuga. I mean, yuga is a long time. Prabhupada translates it 12 years or more. And it's definitely more than 12 years, you know. Because this was the early days, you know, people did not know what yuga is. But we know now what yuga is. Yuga is whatever, 3-4 million years. Imagine 3 million years. And one blink without seeing Krishna is like 4 million years. Fa yuga itam nimeshena. Chakshusha pravishaitam. From my eyes, tears are falling like torrents of rain, like rain. And shunya itam. Shunya is emptiness. Jagat, this material world, whole Jagat, whole universe is shunya, empty. Just put this picture in your mind, empty universe, There's nothing. And you just sit, if you ever enter, when you're moving to a new apartment or new house, you enter, it's empty, there's nothing. No furniture, no carpet, and you just enter this empty room and you're standing there in this empty room. So imagine empty universe. You're standing there, just nothing. No planets, no trees, just emptiness. Shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me, Lord Chaitanya says. In this, when you are not there, feeling your separation, this is how I feel. I feel like there's nothing in this universe, and one moment is like millions and millions of years. And I'm just, tears are falling like out of frustration and separation. So imagine this emotional state where Lord Chaitanya was in. And this is the method how to achieve Krishna. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur said. So this is the next verse. This is verse 72. Before the birth of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, 8 daughters took birth one after another from the womb of Shachimata, the wife of Jagannath Mishra. But just after the birth, they all died. At that time, they didn't have hospitals, and there was people died. Many kids died during the birth. So Jagannath Mishra was very unhappy at the death of his children, one after another. Therefore, desiring a son, he worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So this is yet another, you can say, mood of a devotee. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, he never said, we'll see us for Janmashtami. He will say, if Krishna desires, we will see us at Janmashtami. Because he always let if Krishna desires this, it will happen. If Krishna desires this, it will not happen. So devotees always think like this. So, some non-religionists can think like, oh, these religious people are just stupid. If Krishna desires, it will rain. If Krishna not desire, it will not rain. Because Krishna or not Krishna, the rain will fall anyways. But even if it is so, if it's arranged by material nature, devotee thinking this way actually makes advancement in Krishna consciousness. But because ultimately, philosophically, everything depends on Krishna. Everything depends on Krishna. Everything. There's no, as he said, no blade of grass moves without Krishna's sanction. Not a blade of grass. Imagine this. Somebody, put a salt in the sweet rice, and this is terrible. But then the devotee who is introspective says, actually, this is Krishna's arrangement for whatever reason. But it is arrangement of Krishna. I did once really, really stupid thing. I was serving my spiritual master, and I did really stupid thing, And I wasn't so stupid, but I was stupid. And then he was very displeased. And he said, this is unbelievable. He says, for me, this is Krishna's mercy. But for you, it's your own stupidity. So this is the attitude of a devotee. I think whenever there's something bad thing, or I do something bad, I think, I'm so stupid. And something good happens, I say, it's Krishna's mercy. It's actually very much Krishna's mercy, only. Otherwise, how could I achieve such a thing? Prabhupada even said, in reflecting how he made so many devotees and sitting in Mayapur 1976 or whatever, 7, everything, all these temples. And he said, who would have ever thought that this will happen, that this movement will spring. He says, it's only Krishna's mercy, mercy of Krishna and my Guru Maharaj. He never thought, oh, I did really well. I did really, really well. You know. He didn't think that way. So devotees, this is how devotees think. So, therefore, Jagannath Mishra was praying to Lord Vishnu to get a son. So especially when we do something bigger in our life, some important thing, we have to pray to Krishna. You know, we shouldn't pray to Krishna when we drive car and go to buy boga, and we, Krishna, please give me intelligence. Should I go to Lidl or should I go to Edeka? You know? It's just the opposite to Lidl, Edeka. You know, Krishna, please give me intelligence. We don't do this much, but but the bigger thing is we have to actually pray to Krishna to see if Krishna is actually pleased, or if Krishna is approving this or not. And then Krishna will give us intelligence through different ways. You know, He will arrange a situation, or He will, whatever. We become sick or whatever, or He will appear to us in a dream, and He will say, Hari Bol, this is very terrible idea. Don't do it. Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. I had to, this one story, since Pujari came out, now Krishna inspired me to speak about Pujari's story. We were once in one temple, Jaya Shishi Prahlad Nrsimhadeva Ki Jaya, in one temple in San Francisco. And the Pujari, in the night, was dreaming. And he was dreaming that he went to the kitchen. He heard the noise. He looked at the watch. It was 12 o'clock, 12:30 or something. And it was middle of the night in his dream. It was middle of the night in reality. And then he said, he heard the noise in the kitchen. And he said, what is the noise? Who is doing cooking or using the kitchen in 12 o'clock at night? So he came to the kitchen and he saw me. I was living at that time. And I put the gornitai in the pan, in the funny. Huh? I put gornitai in the funny like this. And this devotee said, Jasachi, what are you doing? You're having gornitai in the funny, I'm frying gornitai, And gornitai looked at him and said, don't be angry at him. Look at us, we are freezing cold, he's making us warm. The gornitai were angry at him. Why you leave him alone? He's making us warm. So please do not try this at your home. To think like gornitai is cold, let me put him a little bit, with nice oil. This is not advisable. And then the Pujari woke up from the dream. There was like 1 o'clock at night or something like this. And he thought, well, maybe Krishna wants to tell me something. So he went to the altar, and the Heizung was kaput. What is the Heizung of English? The heating was broken, and it was cold. So gornitai woke him up to tell him, we are cold, do something. So he has to quickly he put the electric heater to heat the gornitai. So sometimes Krishna tells us directly. Sometimes Krishna tells us through other people, through other devotees. Sometimes Krishna tells us through scriptures. This is another example I have. I was once very, very sick. And I went in front of Jagannath. And I said, like this, well, you want me to be sick? I could preach. I could actually distribute books. I could do so much preaching, and I'm laying here in bed sick. Is this what you want? What kind of benefit do you get from me being sick? I don't understand, So you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Do something that I become healthy, that I can actually preach. So Jagannath did not answer anything, of course. And I said, okay. I went, okay, if you want me to be sick, fine, I went back to my bed. Actually, I was sleeping on the floor. I lay down, I said, let me read the book. I opened the book, and just opened like this, and there was written, a devotee does not pray for any material benefit, for health, and so and so. So I was like, oh, okay. So I closed the book, I went back to the altar, I said, sorry, Jagannath, I will never ever in my life again pray for any material benefit. Hare Krishna. So Krishna speaks to us in different ways. Sometimes this way, sometimes that way. So therefore, we always looking towards Krishna. I even found in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, when we sneeze, pshia, or when we rutschen, wie sagt man rutschen? Slipping. When we, you walk in, it is Shastric instruction to always say Krishna's name. In the 11th canto. Yeah. When you sneeze, you have to say Krishna. They say Gesundheit, in Deutschland or whatever, In America they say bless you. Bless you. But we always say Hare Krishna, Krishna. It is actually in the verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I was shocked to find it out. So it's Krishna's name. So I always say Krishna Chaitanya. So we should always look towards Krishna in any situation. Because this is what devotees do. We, anytime we see, today also we read, when any disturbance in Vrindavan, what do devotees do? Pray to Krishna. Krishna, do something. Do something. When there was forest fire, devotees will look immediately. They didn't go to a fire brigade. They just look at Krishna. Do something, Krishna. You can do it. Do something. Krishna said, just close your eyes. I will do it. Devotees closed their eyes. They opened their eyes. There was no more fire. They didn't care how did it happen. They just know Krishna did something. So this is the attitude of a devotee. So this is the attitude of Jagannath Mishra. Therefore, desiring, he worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So now this is a very nice story how Advaita Acharya brought Krishna to come to the planet Earth by loud cries and by offering water and offering tulsi to his shalagram shila. This shalagram shila, we don't know exactly, but at least it's there still in Mayapur. If this is exactly the same shila, but it's there. And it is said that this was the shilas that Lord Advaita Acharya worshipped to bring Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is all good, but there's a story before that also. And this story, how the Krishna desired to come to this earth, it happened a little bit before Advaita Acharya called him. And this story is very much, it is described in Chaitanya Mangala by Lochan Das Thakur. And it is described how connected with Krishna's own personal desire and Narada's Muni personal desire. So therefore we have in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta 2 chapters in the very beginning of the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, 4 and 5. Ādi-līlā, it's called external reasons for the Lord appearance and internal reasons. So external reason is, we know Lord Chaitanya came to preach Krishna consciousness, to save the conditioned souls. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata adbhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. That every time there's a irreligion is rising, then Krishna out of compassion incarnates, comes himself. So what happened is the Narada Muni was, we know Narada Muni, he was very interesting personality actually. Such a unique personality. He's everywhere. He's every time you read in Bhagavatam something, Narada Muni is somehow there, accidentally. And if you read Brihad Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami, Narada Muni is everywhere. Everywhere where Gopakumar went, Narada Muni was somehow there. He was in the heavenly planets, he was in here, in this planet, he was in a higher planet, he was in Vaikuntha, he was in Ramaloka, he was in Dvaraka, he was everywhere, Narada Muni. So Narada Muni was traveling with his veena playing, Narada Muni Bhaja Veena Radhika Ramana Name. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this beautiful song. The Narada Muni sings on his veena. Veena is something like sitar looking, like a guitar. transcendental guitar. So he was playing around, singing the glories of Radha and Krishna. And then he saw the Kali Yuga approached this planet Earth, and he saw the people become more irreligious and sinful. So he felt very, very pain to see people like this. This is interesting that great souls they feel pain, by seeing others suffering. When we see others suffering, we think, I deserve it, whatever, whatever we think, or let me stay away from me, During this Corona showed the best of the human nature. I've been cynical. Somebody doesn't wear a mask. Stay away from me and my family. Showing you suffer. You can die, but don't come here in this my magical Rekha. Lakshman Rekha. Lakshman made a circle that Ravana cannot come, so we make circle ourselves. This is me. So Narada Muni is actually not in this way. He was in the mood of I see really pain in these people, and that gives me pain. And Narada Muni became depressed. This is the depression of the people in the material, of the people on the transcendental plane. Depression means they're feeling compassion towards the living entities. When we are depressed because our desires are not fulfilled exactly the way we wanted, and somehow that gives us great grief, and this grief become chronic. I'm not here defining the psychological, what is exactly depression. In Wikipedia we can look, but this is basically what's the point. And great devotees felt compassion. So Narada Muni was wandering around, and he accidentally went to Dwaraka. And at that very time, Krishna was staying with the queen Satyabhama, the night. Sometimes we see in the Krishna book, the Narada Muni came, Krishna expanded himself into so many Krishnas, and he spent the night with each of the queens. But in this story, Rukmini she heard, I don't know how did she hear, but somehow they hear it. The Krishna will, from Satyabhama's home, come to her home. And she was so overwhelmed of spiritual ecstasy, and she had to clean the house. She herself personally cleaned the house, and invited everybody there to receive Krishna in the best possible way. And when Krishna came, she was so overwhelmed and very ecstatic. And then Krishna came to her, husband and wife, more intimate. And then Rukmini started crying. Crying in tears of ecstasy, you can say. And then Krishna was asking, why are you crying? What have I done? Krishna very soft-hearted. He would think like, have I done something wrong? And he asked Rukmini, what have I done to you? Did I say anything wrong? Did I do anything wrong? What can I do to have you stop crying? And Rukmini said, you cannot understand how do I feel. And then Krishna said, I'm God, I can understand everything. I'm Sarvagya, I know everything. And Rukmini said, no, you cannot understand. Doch. You cannot understand because you don't understand what's going on in the heart of a devotee who loves you. And Krishna was shocked. He said, really? He said, I never thought about this. I thought I know everything, but this thing actually I do not know. And then Rukmini said, you cannot understand, particularly you cannot understand how do I feel, and you cannot understand how does Srimati Radharani feels. So if you want to know what your devotees feel in the core of their hearts, you should actually practice, or you should try to understand this Radha Bhava. Bhava means the the emotion of Radharani. You should understand this, Radharani's emotion. And Krishna was like, wow, thank you. Krishna was not puffed up, What are you telling me? I'm the husband, I'm the, what do you know? I'm the all omnipotent. I am sarvato, what is it? Sarvato pani padam tat sarvato kshishira mukkam sarvatam shruttima loke sarvam avritya tishtati. Bhagavad Gita. Everywhere are his hands and eyes, and his ears are everywhere. In this way, the super soul pervades the whole entire universe. So Krishna knows everything. There's nothing you can hide from Krishna. But this thing in the core of Radharani's heart and Rukmini's heart, he could not understand. And he said, I will actually try to understand this. Here, Rukmini said, besides me, only Srimati Radharani knows how to relish the mellows of love and taste the highest transcendental pleasure. So Krishna he became ecstatic. And he said, in this way, when Krishna heard this, his heart danced in ecstasy, his lotus eyes, reddish like the rising sun. When we see sun in the morning, this reddish color I saw this morning, this is actually, we can think about this is Krishna's reddish eyes. Yeah. Filled with tears of compassion. Krishna felt tears of compassion. He was sitting on a throne, and he placed Rukmini on his lap, and he lovingly looked at her. And he said, oh my beloved Rukmini, I've never heard such a beautiful description. Because Rukmini was glorifying the lotus feet of Krishna first, then she said this. So when this situation was going on right now, this emotional exchange between Krishna and Rukmini on the throne in Dwaraka, this is very tense moment. And at that moment, Narada Muni arrives, depressed. So this is like, imagine the scene, just imagine the scenery, Depressed Narada Muni come, fried as we call it, it's called. and Krishna is emotional, and then Krishna says, oh, Narada has arrived, everybody's like, oh my God, Narada, great sage, let's offer, puja, worship, special diet, Narada Muni, like, every preacher, I've been a little bit cynical. And, Narada Muni arrived, they offer all kind of worship to Narada Muni, and they said, Narada, why are you so, after, Narada was seated well, why are you so depressed? What's going on? So Narada explained, I'm depressed because I see the suffering of these people in Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga, there's no good qualities left. And we know, there's a verse in Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, Kaler dosha nida rajan. He explained to Rajan, to King Parikshit, that this Kali Yuga is dosha nidhi. Nidhi is ocean. Prema nidhi. We have this prema nidhi, ocean of prema. Imagine this. That's a nice ocean. Ocean of prema. But this is dosha nidhi, ocean of faults. Everybody is full of faults. Imagine, big ocean and only bad things in there, and we swim in this ocean, like refreshing ourselves in the ocean of faults. Kale dosha nidha rajan asti hyeka mahan guna, but mahan guna, one good quality, is kirtana deva krishnasya, that when we chant the holy name of Krishna, this is the only good quality in the Kali Yuga. So Narada Muni saw that there was no good qualities, and that time there was no chanting of the Hare Krishna. So he said, I feel depressed, I feel bad about these people. So Krishna then said, my dear Narada, I just heard this wonderful description from Rukmini Devi. And then this combined together, I'll promise you that the age of Kali, I will manifest myself. And this is again, this is the reason we have this internal reason and external reason for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One is the compassion towards the conditioned souls, giving them the holy name, and another one is his own internal reasons, his own reasons. These are not our reasons. Sometimes people say, "Oh, this is external." Lord Chaitanya, these are his own personal reasons that to taste the nectar of actually being his devotee experiences this Radha Bhava. The mood of separation, viraha, Govinda virahe name, viraha bhava, the mood of separation. So this is the reason, internal you can say reason. But then Lord Chaitanya said, not just that I will save the conditioned souls, but I will actually share what I experienced myself with those unfortunate people. So this cannot be explained in any way why the people of Kali Yuga deserve this. They don't deserve it at all. They don't deserve it at all. Bhagyavan Jiva, it is described in Caitanya-caritāmṛta, that the people or souls who find a guru in this world, Brahmanda, they're just Bhagyavan. They're just fortunate. There's no other qualification, There's no qualification. Just fortunate. That's all. We distribute books on the street. What do? We are creating fortune for the unfortunate people. When we have a, we have a Harinam, when we have a Ratha Yatra, we are creating fortune for the people. We distribute prasadam. Or wherever, we walk in Dhoti, many times, you walk. I was once walking in Dhoti, I was in South America, I walked in Dhoti, on the street in Saffron. And one lady stopped the car, and I thought, oh my gosh, now they will kidnap me, because in South America this is quite normal, Stop the car, open it, put him in there, and then call your parents, cut your fingers, and whatever, So I thought, that's it, this is my end, I said, okay, Hari, Nisimadev. And then the woman came out of the car and said, "Are you Hare Krishna?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I am looking for you for like 1 year." I said, "Oh, really? Yeah, well, there it is, Anyways, this is just a little anecdote. The point is that that there's external and internal reason of Lord Chaitanya appearance. And the Lord Chaitanya himself, he said, "I will come as a devotee and I will spread this, but I will also share this nectar of what I experienced to the unqualified people." The story was where I was walking was that we create fortune. We create fortune. Although we are unqualified ourselves, we are creating fortune in the unqualified people, other unqualified people. There's one very nice story. I don't know how nice, but illustrative. There's one person who was a devotee for a while, and he left. I don't think he was an issue, just, left. It wasn't for him. And then he was one night drinking in the bar. Drinking alcohol. And then he was drinking and standing next to another guy. And they started talking. And then this ex-devotee, ex-devotee, I'm saying few weeks or whatever, few months. And then he started preaching to him about Krishna. So they were drinking, sharing the drinks, or whatever. Sharing is caring. And after a while, this guy who was drinking, he said, "If this Krishna thing is so great, why are you sitting here in the bar next to me?" And the other guy said, "Well, I am in a stage technically called Maya." But this other guy who was listening, he went home and he thought, "Wow, this is very interesting." So he went to the temple and he became a devotee. So even unfortunate people, by the mercy of Krishna Chaitanya, can make other people fortunate. So this is the Kali Yuga. But not only they become fortunate to get liberation from the material world, many times devotees say, "Oh, I'm tired of this world and I had enough of this and I want to just get out of it, People are suffering in the world, and they want to stop it, stop the suffering. And this is technically called moksha, or liberation. But Lord Chaitanya went beyond liberation. He actually, not just that we are getting liberation, but we will get Krishna prema, love for Krishna. So Krishna is sharing this, what he experienced, how to be his devotee, Radharani, and then he will share with us. This is like unbelievable. Unbelievable. If somebody would go to a poor man, there were these films, beggar and rich man, whatever, they exchange. Suddenly the beggar become rich in the castle and he doesn't know what's going on. I don't know where to sleep. They don't know. This is too much. Overwhelming. So this is what's happening to us. We get this unbelievable, amazing gift. Radha Ramahima Prema Rasasima. This is a song. Yadigora na hoito. If Lord Chaitanya did not come, who would have given this? Who would have given this wonderful gift of experience of Radharani towards Krishna? Radha Bhava. So this is what's happening there now. Krishna is speaking to Narada and to the queens. Rukmini and other queens were there also. And then he said, I will assume this form. Narada, don't worry about this. I will assume this golden form. And he describes himself in his beautiful elongated hands, beautiful lotus eyes. They said Lord Chaitanya was so beautiful that everybody saw him, they could not get the eyes of him. Sometimes we see some very beautiful man, see beautiful woman, or woman see beautiful man, and you just mesmerized, oh my God, But Lord Chaitanya is so beautiful that everybody was so attracted. It is in Chaitanya Bhagavata, it is described when Lord Chaitanya was young, Nimai Pandit, that everybody, wherever he went, everybody just followed him because of his beauty. Even the Muslims, they couldn't get the eyes of Lord Chaitanya. And when Lord Chaitanya would go to Gaya, we know he took initiation in Gaya, the people are feeling separation from Lord Chaitanya. Everybody in Navadvip. So when Chaitanya came back, this is the hundreds of people came. Oh, Nima is back, Nima is back, Nima is back. Lord Chaitanya was so attractive, his bodily features. So this is what Krishna told to Rukmini and the queens and to Narada. And then, when he was absorbed in this ecstasy while describing, Lord Chaitanya showed the form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, golden form, to the Rukmini's crew, Rukmini and other queens, and to Narada. And everybody was stunned. Wow, we have never seen such a thing. Narada Muni, what did he do? What usually people do when they have a darshan of Krishna? Faint, of course. We were just laughing, me and Nitya, because we were reading Caitanya-caritāmṛta, and she said, wow, there's lots of fainting going on. Zusammenbrechen, wir haben zusammenbrechen auf dem Boden. Ah? Ohnmacht. And lots of fainting going on in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Gadadhar Pandit, there's so many, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves and they're all like, oh, just like a cut banana tree. Have you seen banana tree being cut in Mayapur? Because there are all these leaves, big leaves. So when you cut, it doesn't fall immediately. Like, So this is how people faint when they see, Ramananda Rai fainted when Lord Chaitanya showed him Sadbhuja form, or Radha and Krishna form, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya when he saw Sadbhuja form, everybody just fainting, And in Chaitanya Bhagavata even more fainting is described, so much fainting. When Lord Chaitanya saw Jagannath, he fainted and all these things. So Narada Muni fainted when he saw the form of Lord Chaitanya. So this was the very first time that Lord Chaitanya showed this form, ever. This was the very first time. Lord Chandas Thakur described this. Then he said, Narada Muni woke up from his faint situation, and he said he started crying like torrents of rain. He could not stop crying. So this is another, you can say, interesting feature in our religion. You can say there's lots of fainting and lots of crying going on. So this, but the grace of Prabhupada, we don't imitate. In the previous times, this Bhaktivinoda Thakur discovered this so-called Alpa Sampradaya. Alpa Sampradaya means the sampradayas which are not really authorized. And there, people are fainting and crying, and after finishing fainting and crying, they get up and smoke cigarette and talk about, business or whatever, So this is not proper, this is actually real emotion ecstasy towards Krishna. So Narada Muni started crying, and this is, I have to describe you this. Gauranga's brilliant golden complexion was more effulgent than millions of suns. More effulgent than millions of suns. Just see one sun, how effulgent it is. Imagine millions of suns, how effulgent that is. And Lord Chaitanya's body was more effulgent than millions of suns. The shining beauty of millions of moons and millions of cupids would have been, I'll translate, would have put to shame to see inconceivable beautiful face of Lord Gauranga. So millions of moons and millions of cupids. Cupid is a god of love. So millions of gods of love and millions of moons cannot compare to the beautiful face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Narada Muni, becomes stunned again, and he becomes ecstatic. So Lord Krishna said, okay, now I'm withdrawing this form. Now you have seen it, and I will appear in this form in Nadia, in Bengal, in the house of Shachimata. And he said to Narada Muni, Narada, you go to the demigods and tell them about this, what you have seen here, and tell them to slowly take birth in Nadia. And therefore we have all these wonderful devotees, we have demigods who are born in the, in Navadvip, in Nadia. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, there was a setup there for him. So, this is maybe for the beginning, introduction to Sri Krishna Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's Gaur Purnim, the appearance. This is how actually he appeared before he came to this planet Earth. Maybe next time we can speak more about the incarnations, the different colors of the incarnations, and the different, methods or different, gifts what different incarnations brought to the unfortunate souls in the material world. So, Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Ramananda Gopal.
Just because you were stressing in the end this point about how we give the mercy out, that there's no, when we go out to distribute,
yes.
Like this lady came out, Soy and Dodi and something like that. But I'm always wondering what's the influence of some Sukriti from, some people, they end up in age of Kali because they're still looking and they're actively looking.
Yes.
And there are others, people who don't really look, but they come in contact with, getting prasadam, didn't want to look for God, but
yes.
So how these two fitting together?
We cannot, the laws of karma and the rules of karma are so intricate that I don't think anybody can figure it out. It is 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is described that the material world is like activities in the material world like a banyan tree. Nobody knows when is the beginning, where is the end. Everything is so mixed up that I don't think that there's any one way or one rule. You know, we can say that Anadi Bahirmukha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, that we turned away from Krishna since time Anadi, time immemorial. Nobody knows, nobody can count, there's no numbers to count how many lifetimes we live in this material world. So, in these many lives we accumulate good karma, bad karma, good karma, bad karma. So, we cannot say, I cannot say, for sure. Maybe Yamaraj could probably say it, you know. But karma, laws of karma are very intricate. How does one come in contact? Bhagyavan, fortunate. This is all that is described in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. We know this Agyata Sukriti is there also. Therefore, when somebody distributes a book, you get a book, and the person gets Agyata Sukriti, unknowing. There was a devotee who would walk on the street and ask everybody, "What's the time? What's the time?" And the person said, 10 to 5. And this person has done Agyata Sukriti. So he would walk, everybody, "What's the time? What's the time?" So he asked 50 people, "What's the time?" So these 50 people got Agyata Sukriti. We don't do this, of course. But you know, for example, we were traveling recently, me and Nitya, and it was a full train, like so full. And everything is full. And then two Muslim boys, there was maybe 17. And they saw us, we were in dhotis, in sari, and they saw us and they immediately stood up. "Please have a seat." We're like, no, have a seat. And they had a seat and they took my luggage, they put it upstairs, you know. So this is Agyata Sukriti, you can say, you know. We were like, wow, so impressed, you know. So devotees were pleased, so somehow Krishna must be pleased. So yes, the answer is yes to all. You know. It could be Agyata Sukriti, it could be complete chance, Bhagyavan, you know. It could be millions of lives, you know, maybe we worship Krishna. Like some devotees have attraction to certain deities that we don't worship, you know. Vishnu deities or whatever, or Narasimha or Varaha or whatever, you know. But this is maybe from the previous lives. We don't know. But in, you know, how do you say, in ultimate issue we should not care. We just got this gift, it's there, and we try to follow the orders of spiritual master and let Krishna deal with this. How does that work? How does karma work? In the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Markandeya Rishi, he wanted to see how the material energy works. You know, because we would like to know how does it work, and he wanted to know. He was Neugierig. He's curious. He was curious, you know. How does this work, you know? And then Krishna said, "Do you really want to know?" And Markandeya said, "Yeah, sure." So then, suddenly this whole material world was devastation of water and everything. And then he experienced amazing pain and this. He realized how the material energy works, actually. How does it look like? And then, but he was so physically and mentally anguished that after Krishna appeared and he said to him, and he said, "Would you like to know more?" And he said, "No, that's enough, thank you." So this is, I guess, mood of a devotee. Yeah, we don't actually, this is how it is. And if somebody is from previous life or this life, it doesn't matter, really. We just give Krishna consciousness. Something like this. I don't know, it's not satisfying, but I don't think there's any answer. Noch was?
Gita had a question, but she just left.
So then, tomorrow. You know this, whatever you can do today, leave it for tomorrow. This is the society of procrastinators, you know. You know procrastination? What's this procrastination auf Deutsch? Yeah. He said the society of procrastinators unite tomorrow. It's amazing, you know, if you actually start reading about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is like a really deep, ocean without Boden. Man, I'm mixing now German. ocean without bottom, you know, there's no end. Because there's so many wonderful things about Lord Chaitanya. And so many devotees, even if they write like a small poems, you know, like Prabodhananda Saraswati, Caitanya-caritāmṛta. This is a small poem, not many, I don't know how many verses. But so much nectar in every, if you actually look at the details, it's amazing. It's like this book, Chaitanya Mangala, by Lochandas Thakur. Lochandas Thakur read a Kadachas. Kadachas is like a diary of Murari Gupta. And based on this Kadachas, he wrote this book. But when you meditate on Lord Chaitanya, when you are empowered by Lord Chaitanya to write about him, then you get a little extra insight. Like for example, I cannot imagine that in Murari Gupta's Kadacha was there, the Rukmini, you know, they showed the form in front of Rukmini. That was his own realization. You know, I mean, so it's this is that therefore our Srimad Bhagavatam or it's always extended. When you read Srimad Bhagavatam, it's kind of difficult to find out what is actually Srimad Bhagavatam, you know. Sutta Goswami speaking, then suddenly Rishi, what is his name, speaking, then Parikshit is speaking, then suddenly Shukadev is speaking, and then Maitreya, and what is this now? Where is this coming from? So this is Srimad Bhagavatam is actually discussion about Krishna and description about Krishna. And when we discuss and hear about Krishna, Krishna also revealed to us some more information. You know. So, and then, like for example, you have this, I was just reading yesterday, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur called, I think, Goranga Lila, Goranga Ashtaka Lila, something like this. The day is divided in eight parts. And each part, what is Gauranga Mahaprabhu doing in the spiritual world in these times? There's no book written about this. He had his revelation, you know. And he explains how devotees they go to Srivas Thakur's house in the evening, they sing kirtan, then they eat some prasadam, they bathe in Ganga, you know, at this time, at that time. This is all revelation. Like we sing in the evening, Kiba Jaya Gora Chander. Kiba Jaya Gora Chander. But where is this coming from? This song. But where from? He had obviously, the last stanza when he said, Shiva Shukal Narada Preme Gada Gada. You know, and who was standing there? Vasu Ghosh, all these people there, you know, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this, you know, and he wrote this, and for us we are singing, we are repeating, by the grace of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we are repeating this song. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur had an insight. He's sitting in Ratna Simhasana, this asan made of jewels. And everybody was there. Shiva, Shuka, Narada, who else was there? Narahari Saka, Narahari Adikori, Chamara Dulaya, he's waving the Chamara, Sanjaya, Mukunda, Vasu Ghosh, all these people are standing there and worshipping Lord Chaitanya, these eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya. So we should not think that this story is what we read, this is the end, you know. There's more to it, there's more details to it. So therefore we should pray to Krishna Chaitanya, and we should worship Krishna Chaitanya. We will see maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, in what mood Lord Chaitanya actually worship Krishna. I will speak from one of the verses from the Shikshashtaka. You know, this is the mood actually of Lord Chaitanya. Anyways, it's 9 o'clock. Yes?
What you said in the end, how do we know it's a divine revelation or it's a evil speculation?
Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Yeah, but because you know, somebody, like, take this example of Bhaktivinoda Thakur,
yes,
who has this, you know, so if you say this in Bhagavatam class, or you know, if you have some revelation in Bhagavatam class, everybody will say, where's the pranam, where's the, the evidence from the Shastra.
Yes, Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself, it says we have different pramanas. Pramana means evidence. In philosophy, this is called, I forgot now. My brain is not. Anyways, meaning how do you know that you know? So in our Shastras, we know, we don't experiment scientifically, is Bhaktivinoda Thakur pure devotee, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is a pramana. Pramana means authorized. We have three main pramanas. There are many pramanas. There are sometimes 8, or I think Shankaracharya has 8 or 12 pramanas, different pramanas. Means 8 ways to find the truth. So for us, it's 3 main ways to find the truth. One is to inductive, to actually think about it. If this is, the sun rises every day, whatever, something, If we see that the child is changing the body, this is not the same child, and that although the same person, but the body is different, that then the body becomes big, and then on the end, the body becomes small when the person is old, but this person stays the same. It could have been that the next, when this person dies, it could have been the person stays the same, just enter another body. Bhagavad Gita. So this is called inductive logic. We are thinking about these things. Or Prabhupada gives this very good example. I have a father, my father had a father had a father, and father has to be one original father. And this is God, or this is Krishna. So this is so-called inductive logic, And then we have what is it? Perception, direct perception, So we see things, like, I don't know. We see God, for example. Prabhupada he actually saw Krishna. He would say, Rukmini Dwarkadish told me to go to India. For example, they ordered me to go to India. Rukmini Dwarkadish did this in Los Angeles. So they told him personally, he saw. And then we have this shabda, by hearing, And then we hear from the Shastras, and we hear from the holy personalities who actually, you can say, personifying Krishna, or personifying God. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is himself a pramana. His own existence is a pramana. So, in that sense, there is no scientific way to examine Bhaktivinoda Thakur's pure devotion. As much as there's no scientific way to examine Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no way to examine Srimad Bhagavatam. And according to the mundane scholars, Bhagavatam was spoken like 1,000 years ago, 1,400 years ago, And that it was changed because of Buddhism, so they put Buddha in there to fit everybody, and they fit, what is his name? 100 sons, Nunam Pramata Kurute, Yat Pritya Indra, 5th canto, Rishabhadev, that they actually added Rishabhadev to fit Jainism, This is mundane scholarship. But for us, Srimad Bhagavatam, Purana Mamalam, is actually purest Purana. And Puranas are ancient histories. To us, this is actually, Puranas are aparushaya, not spoken by a human being. But how do we know this? Because it's written in the Puranas, So it's the same way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is, as much as this is pramana, Bhagavatam is a pramana for us, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is himself a pramana. Because of his pure devotion. You can think about it, the way, whatever he has achieved, he found the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birthplace. He discovered Mayapur, basically. He discovered Caitanya-caritāmṛta. There was no Caitanya-caritāmṛta before Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I mean, there was, but it was lost. Imagine, in Orissa, you don't find Caitanya-caritāmṛta. In the land of Lord Chaitanya. So he did all these things. So this is itself proof of his devotion to Krishna. So when he says, I am whatever Manjari, or I am seeing Lord Chaitanya, we believe by the successive, if one thing is right, in 10 things are right, 11 things must also be right. This is how we look at things. And we are told also by Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, the Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a pure devotee and therefore authorized the Charya. So this is yet another evidence, another pramana. And we have a faith in Prabhupada because seeing what Prabhupada has done spiritually, so we believe what Prabhupada has done. Otherwise, scientifically, we cannot measure, pure devotion. There's a 10, whatever, chemicals. It doesn't happen. Okay, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jaya.